me, actually, the Big Twins have really borrowed a lot from the sports over the years. You know? I know people talk a lot of shit about sports. It's the girls' bike, it's half a Harley and all that stuff. But I shit you not, the fastest Harley I've ever been on in my life was a 1972 Ironhead. Okay,
Really?
This guy named...
That was that bike that you rode on the back of that guy's nut butt back in the day, right?
Shit.
That's the one, right? Don't be shy now.
This guy's gay as fuck.
That's why I worked for him. He was looking for an end.
I worked for F&S Harley Davidson years ago, and there was a guy that he's dead now. He was a big flat track racer named Gary Stolzenberg.
He let you ride on his bike?
Some people, no, he built this engine. He was a master. He just loved Ironheads.
Masturbator?
And he was a master at building these fucking things. I mean, if you built your Ironhead, that was a solid engine. This guy had bought this Ironhead.
So he's like Zebo.
Yeah. So this guy had bought this Ironhead for, I don't know, and he had it for a long ornament. Literally, like he hang Christmas lights off of it for like a couple of years. But he finds us how to bring it to the shop one day. I want to see if I can get this thing running. This has been in my front yard. I'm like, are you kidding me? And it wasn't special looking about it. It was just an orange 72 Sportster. But then I thought Gary Stolzenberg built the engine, and when I got that thing running, I took off and I about threw me off the back of the goddamn thing. Woo! This is when I was working with Buckman Harley Davidson in Xenia, Ohio. And I shit you not, the fastest fucking Harley I've ever sat on is that fucking 1972 Ironhead Sportster. Out of all Harleys I've been on, that was the fastest one. I couldn't believe how quick that fucking thing was. And it was a right-hand shift. That was a pain in the ass. You know, they didn't start doing left-hand shifts on Sportsters until, I think, 77, 78, something like that. I can't remember what year it was. I even got several Sportsters, but they're all late 70s, early 80s models is what I've got, Ironheads.
You called about it in the crank or what? The flywheel?
Cases.
Right, well, I get that. He wants us to true the crank, so he means the flywheel.
Yeah.
Right.
It's true, the flywheel's up.
Yeah. So when you got a job like that, you know, you got to check and inspect the casing. You got to look through all the brass fittings, make sure everything's to spec. You know, it's like open heart surgery. So you're going to want to go through that and mic it, check wear items, check your screen in the bottom, check all the capillaries where the oil is going to go through, make sure there's no protrusions or anything like that.
It's going to get new bearings anyway.
Yeah.
New bearings?
Yeah. You check the studs, make sure they're not pulled or stretched.
Those studs right there, they're going to be short.
Like this dick. You can leave that in.
Yeah. Yeah. Put it in your butthole, you won't think it's small.
That's perfect.
But with the old Ironheads they work like all the old bikes with cast iron cylinders. The cylinders bolt to the cases and the heads bolt to the cylinder from underneath. As opposed to the Evolution's twin cams and Milwaukee 8s where the entire cylinder sits on studs and then the head bolted to the cylinder through the head.
Fun fact about Ironheads, they are probably the most expensive to work on. They require the most tooling, and they're probably the most, they're the easiest and cheapest bike to get into when it comes to a Harley outside of a sportsman. You know, a later model.
People sell them for cheap because they're a pain in the dick to work on.
That's why they sell them for cheap?
Well, you can pick them up for next to nothing. The thing about a Sportster is the transmission and the engines are integrated. When you buy a set of Sportster cases, you get the transmission with it. And it's not like buying a shovel head or a cam head where it's got a completely divorced transmission, or even an Evolution or a twin cam. You know, with your twin cams, and the cases bolt together, but they are separate units entirely. Sportsters don't like that. The old K models, which is very similar. Johnny Depp wrote one of that movie Crime Movie, and everyone thinks it's like a Triumph, it's not. It's a Harley K model. But that's, they're all flatheads. And when they decided to come up with an overhead valve version of that became the Ironhead in 1957. And the combustion chamber was so efficient in the Ironhead that when it came time to revise the big twins, the panheads, they decided to make a combustion chamber similar to that of the Iron Head, which became the Shovel Head. That was 1966.